talking of compensation, yes, the biggest headline in the past 1 week ilikuwa story ya lawyer fulani anaitwa Mbobu. Hiyo jina nisemaje kwa ni jina Kikamba?
Mbobu.
Bombu.
Mbobu.
Hiyo jina juu niletea shida. Ama hiyo M ni silent kwa Bobu.
No, Mbobu.
Na kwa Kikamba?
Because us tunapenda letter M sana. Yeah. Instead hata tuseme vumbi tunasema pumbi. So there's an M where there's not supposed to be M.
Oh, okay.
And then kuna ND, ndomandonzons. Instead of tomato sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So story ya huyo nani Chalo, acha tumuite Chalo. Lawyer Chalo ishatokea. Alafu after itokee, now new information started coming out. And one of the informations ilikuwa that is it litigate a few cases and the clients won but hakuwalipa pesa. Ingine ilikuwa ni land, like kuna watu walimpatia land ni Corat. Corat walimpatia land auze, akauza for 250 million, then akakeep 97 million for himself. Ingine kuna client alishindia huo client 40 million and the client never got a single cent. Yes. So after he died, so mimi mwenye nikareact. When I was reacting to all this information, I said that there's something I've never understood. Why is it that in Kenya when I sue, the money has to go through the lawyer? I think ini kitu niluza wakili nitwa nani Pikipiki Ponki Willis, lakini pia wacha nikuulize, let me hear your version. Why? Kwa nini pesa lazima go through client? Because after nikitumia zile za wahenga za money is the root of all evil. Like why am I tempting you that much? Like he can't do yote pitie kwa account yako alafu wewe uchukue hii kidogo. Because like for example the Corat money, he was supposed to get this 250 million, transfer like 242 and keep 8 million as his fee. Yaka transfer 153 aka keep 97. You understand the amount of temptation that comes with that? So why does the money have to go through the lawyer?
So I'll start first of all na easy stories are conveyancing. So unapatanga, as much as it's case by case basis, unapatanga like when we are dealing with the conveyancing matter.
What's conveyancing? Let's start with that.
Ka unauza shamba. Tumeka uko na property pale hapa South C, South B, wherever. Na umepata msana nataka kuibuy.
Yes.
So kuna venye hii property transfer kutoka kwako iende kwa mse mwingine, there's a segment ya lawyer pale ardhi sasa. That's the first thing. There's always an advocate involved kwa hizi stories za transfer of properties.
Yes.
Hiyo ni kitu ya kwanza. Kitu ya pili ni sometimes kwa sababu ule advocate ana represent the buyer, anataka assurances that there's an advocate anakurepresent on this other side. Yes. Alafu ataki kutumia do the seller directly. Anasema iache iende kwa wakili kwa sababu anajua kuna recovery processes in case kitu ifanyike na hiyo transfer issue.
Yes.
So kuna mi ile kitu mu advice clients stories are conveyancing. Sometimes history ya kutuma do into another advocate's account should only happen kama it's being held in a joint account. Joint account inamaanisha kama mimi na advocate mwingine tunashikilia na joint account. Sawa.
So it's joint account ya advocate still?
Advocates. Sasa tuseme kuna venye kwa sababu ukisell property si kitu inafanyika in a day.
Yes.
There's a whole process. Lazima umse afanye aende angalie kama hii title ni ukweli, aende angalie kama umefanya clearance, rates, rents, nini hizo vitu zote. Hii process inafanyika hizo vitu zote, it can take between 30 to 60 days depending on your property iko wapi na whatever.
Yes.
Sa unapatanga instead hiyo do iende kwa directly kwa the seller, unapata inaenda kwa a security account mwenye mtu atashikilia. So inakupatia assurances that kama unauza property ido iko ina exist.
Yes.
Na hiyo inakupatia assurances that endi kwa seller kwanza iko held somewhere. So ndo upate hata before hiyo do itoke kwa account ni lazima ni sign na ule advocate mwingine lazima ya sign. So unaona? Alafu pia kuna banks zingine zinapatia nanga hiyo facility. They usually call it security deposits account. So unapata the only thing that will be required is the bank will only release this money upon waone verification that the transfer has already happened. So bank inakuwa security or rather guarantor of this money. Unaona?
Okay, you understand.
Hiyo ni kitu ya kwanza.
You think that one, I think protects the seller.
The seller and the
more
buyers.
More than the I think protects the buyer.
Both. It protects both at that particular point.
Because I feel like I'm going to protect the buyer more than the seller. Because in this situation here, Corat was selling their land.
Yeah.
So Corat sells the land for 250 million. The buyer actually releases the 250 million. But the 250 million ends up kwa account ya Chalo.
Sa achane kupate kwa nini sometimes inafanyikanga hivi.
Okay.
So kuna situations hata lawyers who wash on a clients. Unaweza pata kuna design whereby this law firm inaweza patiwa instructions i-withhold 8 ilipe lawyer directly alafu ipatie client ingine.
Yes.
That's one situation which is reasonable situation. Which is very reasonable.
Yes.
Ingine unapatanga sometimes it's because of a fiduciary relationship between the client and the advocate that they just prefer it like that. Maybe because walifanya previous transactions together ama unapatanga tu it's just a requirement from this other law firm. Because sometimes, most of these times, inakwanga another law firm requiring another law firm to hold the funds.
But you see, like now, I understand you as a lawyer, when you hear that scenario, you're okay. Mimi, as mse wa nje, nasema like, no. Because you see, two lawyers, wanizamwata kucollude.
Yeah, ni possible.
Ajua, wanizamu kucollude, alafu mi ndio nikuwe screwed on the other side. Kwe like, sawa, hii settlement ni 300M, tukishamaliza we ni wanchwani, mi ni wanchwani ufalacha ende kotini. Na kotini anaenda kudil na sisi. So, hakuna scenario whereby even the joint account, kumbuka uko naongea joint account, where the joint account can have mimi na huyo lawyer.
It's
where
possible.
one of us can access the money. So that with that, it means you're guaranteed to have your money because you're both signatories and I'm guaranteed to have my money.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, hata hiyo ndo inafanyikanga anytime ukionanga hizi cases whereby you're being told deposit monies into court. Most of the times inafanyikanga hivyo. That's how ideal it is. Because the court wao wenyewe wana understand during litigation, trust is very fickle.
Yes.
So that's usually the ideal situation. This other one, I think it's just, I personally, okay, for my own reasons, me nimeaudit. I've been audited. I've gone through auditing with KRA and stuff. So sometimes unapatanga when even we are handling clients' funds,
Yes.
wanaweza fikiria ni income.
Yes.
So me, imefika point whereby I actually prefer iendange direct
To client.
to client.
Yes.
Because it's actually making my work a bit less in terms of doing accountability with KRA. Because for me, say I think niko na nafaa kulipa KRA say 130 something out of whatever. So
Hiyo ni million hiyo.
hapana.
Yes,
No, 135. Na hizi ni imekam juu because of
135 million nama
no 135,000.
Yeah, unajua wezi ache tu kihangi.
Kwa sababu ile during the transfer of client funds kuna hizo transaction zinafanyikanga, so ilikuwa it was being taken in as income.
Yes.
So I have that liability and I didn't do a very good job. I should have actually opted to have a tax advocate. Mi nilidecide kwenda mi na accountant wangu.
Oh, okay.
So hiyo ni mess kidogo. But ideally that's money I still have to pay. So I just find that sometimes that happens, and mainly because especially these big law firms ando nakuanga na hizo obligation. These guys when you raise up apartments, most of them they're being represented by big law firms. Na unapata during transactions they don't want to deal with the buyer and seller directly in terms of transfer of funds. Inafanyika through law firm to law firm. It's mainly because of ideally in terms of accountability if something was to happen, because now they can actually now go ahead and sue the law firm, because as a law firm niko na nini insurance for malpractice.
So hiyo ndio kitu pia naweza kuuliza. So now let's say I'm suing A, like company A, and then company A, lawyer wa company A aseme haizi nilipa directly, he has to pay through lawyer wangu. Alafu mi nikatae na nikuwe on record nikisema we nilipe yangu na ulipe lawyer wangu kati yake. Alafu wa insist the only way we are going to do is pay through the lawyer, then they pay the lawyer and the lawyer refuses to transfer the money to me. Can I still sue hawa? Kumbuka mi niko nimekataa, niko nimesema no, nilipeni yangu na mlipe yake. Ndio tu can I nini, because you understand, like we live in this society that is so dishonest. We never admit. Mufili kama hapa Kenya, the only people, if you are to ask a random Kenya who's dishonest in Kenya, watasema it's only the politicians, but it's not. Majuzi nilicheki like Danstan Omari, I think this was on Sunday, he posted a video aki-advise say how it's illegal it is to receive money by mistake and not give it to the rightful person. And it reminded me a story I gave people on Ikonini, where tulikuwa live on air, then an Ikonini fan alikuwa Masaiza States akamwa like kunyweni coffee. So kwa kunywa coffee akasend ilikuwa ni 5k, yes? So send this 5k, instead of kuweka namba yangu aliflip namba kidogo hivi. Alafu akaisend someone else, and I just knew, I remember akinicall like, hey mwafu umepata hiyo chai? Na chai gani? Then eventually he gives me the number and I'm like aisi namba yangu. Akaniambia like damn, inakaimeenda kwa nini? Alafu akaniambia simuulize onekana nizarudisha, and the first thing I told him is this is Kenya, hiyo pesa irudi. Akumka nikamwa tu let me just try, maybe I'm the one who thinks Kenyans are dishonest. I decided to ask this lady, it was a lady, and she was like unajua bwanangu ameenda na simu yangu. First of all, makes no sense. Alafu in the process, because I'd already mentally prepared myself, I moved on na nikasahau. But that showed me the level of dishonesty that we have. In other societies, unachikigi place kama Japan, kulikuwa na history ati was early this year, toll stations zilikata kuwork, they could not communicate with each other. So what Japan did, because they respect time, wakafungua, wakasema leo hakuna toll stations, nyinyi wote piteni free. Do you know that the next day the Japanese voluntarily decided to pay? That's the sort of society they have. So with our society, I think tunakuwaga dishonest, alafu only honest when it's necessary to be honest. So in such a society, I feel like we have to protect the client, because the lawyers have the upper hand. Mimi nikikuibia, you know how to teach me a lesson through law. Mimi ukiniibia, maybe the only way nitafikiria ni wacha tu chalo watu walidili na chalo ni akina nani, una understand? A normal client can think of violence, but a lawyer can actually deal with you through law. So is there a way to protect both, where the lawyer gets his due and the client gets his due without all the money going through the lawyer's account? Because pesa inakuwaga pia very tricky, because let's say leo account yangu iko na 2 million shillings, kesho iko na 502 million shillings. Alafu out of hii 502 nafaa kulipa mse, mi nibaki na 10 million, nibaki na 12 million, nipatia na hii 490. I can be tempted because I can start thinking hii nikikeep half, mse yako na hii half, sacha mi nikikeep half yangu. So how do we protect both parties?
Unaonanga history ya advocates kulado. There's a complaints committee that exists.
Yes.
Na it saddens me that kama hii ndio situation ilifanya Chalo auliwe, man, it's very very unfortunate, kwa sababu the office yenye iko established to handle complaints against advocates, it's under the AG's office. Na pia kuna complaints procedure ya LSK.
Yes.
And it's very effective. I've gone through the same process of settling issues with a client. Na hiyo process inakuanga very fair in my opinion.
Yes.
Shida ni, I think also clients wanafaa kuuliza advocates. Kama unaleta kesi ya maana, tuseme kaa kina the 4 people I'm representing.
Yes.
And Kina Rose and whatever. If the moment it gets to a point whereby now we say we are ready to file this petition, one of the few things inafaa kufanyika, lazima nionyeshe niko na practicing certificate. Hiyo ni kitu ya kwanza. Kitu ingine ni, before nipatie hiyo practicing certificate, kuna kwanga na insurance ya malpractice. So katuseme huu chalo, if this was a situation, insurance company inafaa kujua umse akona kesi involving malpractice of funds.
Yes.
So what usually happens, ukiwa msick kila time, anytime ukienda kuchukua insurance the next year, premium yako inaendanga juu. So unaona? So unaweza pata premium ya umse ilikuwa high na pia limit yake iko high to cover those things. Unaona? So kulikuwa na avenue, mi ndo maana nilikuwa nasema hiki kitu it's a serious loss, and ideally it doesn't necessarily negate the fact that umse aliuliwa vibaya. The point is that I really believe there's just something more to it. Ezi kwa tu kado kani emotions enye umse mwenye alifanya kitu si mse mpoa sana, like
8 shots
that's an overkill.
No pun
Ushaenda pale LA kufanya trial for shooting guns. Man, the amount of force you need kupull
just
trigger.
one shot.
Yes, mtikibla amesema that's an overkill, kama no pun intended.
like
alimu overkill.
The amount of force for you to pull, and there's even hata kuna cases that are shown how intent is. So ukiwa when in a murder case kuna kitu inaitwa malice aforethought.
Yes.
So kupulio trigger your force, it's what proves malice aforethought.
I see.
So hiyo 8 times it's
now what mseko.
Yeah. But wacha to go back to his story, where maybe we try to understand from now the layman's perspective. Yes. So as a layman, I look at Corat. Corat goes to court. They lose their 97 million and they have to fight it through the court system. Sindio? On this other side, another client 40 million. They have to go through the court system. Do you understand why? Then mtu angalie mtu kama huyo this guy is so connected. Alikuwa kwa the political parties, this tribunal, something.
He was the former chair.
Yes. Alikuwa kwa hiyo, alafu kwa nasemekana wife wake anawaka maybe State House. See, this is someone who's connected. And in Kenya, if you're connected, as much as lawyers mtakata, people always assume you're above the law. Nacheki. So msea anaweza feel like hiki tu, cause if tayari kuna hii nini, like maybe what I didn't understand is the insurance, hii malpractice insurance. Mtu you take under what, like how does that work? Let's start maybe
so
with
that. For my law firm, I'm insured up to 20 million.
Yes.
So any case mi kifanya, if there was something to happen, my liability is only covered to that particular extent.
20 million, yes.
Alafu, for that to come through, lazima ipitie a legal process ya procedures, is complaints nini. Ndo find kama you're guilty for malpractice na kitu ka hiyo.
Yes.
Unaona? So mi naona kama sijui kama umse alipatiwa hiyo idea that it was just better to go through the court process. Ideally ingekuwa much easier to start at that because it's much shorter.
But sasa Corat. So Corat should not have gone to court, wangeenda to watu wa malpractice.
Ideally wangeenda court to stop or rather kufreeze accounts from this guy making transactions, or to try and save any money that existed.
Okay.
That's the first thing. You need a court order for that. But ideally ile try and also find assets. And also because you need to find out how much malpractice insurance your advocate has. Ideally for any big matter, because kama nikitaka kubid for a job, let's say for a big company, na hiyo case ni worth maybe 1.5 billion. I need to make sure that my firm iko na hiyo capacity. Unaona?
Okay.
Kwa sababu anything can happen in that case. Failing to do something small can cause a client to lose that. Hiyo kupatia umse mwenye alioshwa PesaLink.
Yes.
Tatuseme kama ingekuwa shida ya advocate kufanya due process in that particular process. How much do you think PesaLink is worth right now? billions, right?
Yeah, billions, yeah.
So you'll find that mwenye angehandle hiyo matter malpractice insurance yake lazima ikuwe big. That's why you find certain big cases they usually go to big lawyers and big firms. That's the only reason,
because of the insurance
yeah,
bit.
because of the insurance bit. So even if you look at, because me I have a very small team, so unaweza pata some of my cases it won't pass like a case value of, let's say, 200 mic, because within that 200 mic you'll find maybe it's arbitration, and some extent it doesn't go to the point whereby the liability, it will overshadow the case value. So kuna way you can manage that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe na isa choka na kuuliza hizi swali because I'm trying to really understand this. So let's go back to the Corat case, and the Corat case is very similar to the Olunga case. So wacha tuanze na Corat. So Corat are selling their piece of land, yes? And their piece of land, they're selling it for 250 million.
Yeah.
Their lawyer receives the whole amount and gives them Nini anabaki na 97 million. So au kurecover 97 million, the first thing they do is they go to court to try and freeze the accounts, yes? But now how do they know that if I'm selling my land and my land is worth 250 million, should I check if my lawyer nini yake hiyo malpractice yake imefika 250 million? Like you haijafika 250, should I still use it?
So I think that's a good question, and it goes into sort of like the how many years this advocate has been in practice,
yes,
and then the type of cases this advocate has, because you can easily tell if an advocate is running a well-oiled law firm and things like that. So katseme ukiangalia kama bidding for work with Gava, one of the few things wakiangalia legal services wanakuuliza kama malpractice yako, they ask you to give there's a certificate tunapatiwanga. So kaa yangu itaonyesha I'm covered to this particular limit.
Okay.
So nikienda kubid for work worth, let's say, like 200 million na ukiona hiyo the required limit ijafikisha what they want, hawezi kupatia hiyo kesi.
Okay.
Sasa tuseme kaa hii ya land transaction, which is very unfortunate. Ideally it doesn't need to force a client to ask that, but I think it also goes into a question of trust. Man, that's a big amount of money.
The only trust Kenya ni condom buda jo.
No, it's just
kondiko tu.
Ni swali ngumu
ni kujiambia.
Like honestly nikifikiria that particular situation, of course I don't have all the facts, but either way that was a substantial amount of money for our clients. Which should have been.
As you think about that, let me bring another story. Hii story ingine ilikuwa Olunga mlisikiaga?
Olunga gani hiyo?
Olunga was buying a piece of land in Karen. So this is what happens. Olunga pays, I think, his lawyer.
Olunga footballer?
Olunga moja, yes.
Footballer?
Yes.
Wow,
paid his lawyer 67 million. So now the lawyer was supposed to kupatiana hii itoke kwake iende kwa mse owner wa land. Kalichezewa hapa jo. The money never went to the last time I checked your story, pesa haiko imeenda to the client. So now Olunga alikuwa amelose 67 million and he still had no piece of land. Wacha niangalie story ya Olunga 67. And that's why ukiona nini Ian, ukiona vile na shuku lawyers ni juu ya najua I love mwambia gani watu, I love mathematics, yes? And mathematics is all about pattern recognition. 1 + 1 = 2. 2 + 2 = 4. You know, those are patterns. Yes. So the patterns have shown me that there's a lot of distrust, and there's, I think ukiandika Olunga 67 million. I think
ilikuwa
that's the story that
last year, this year,
yes.
Tambo.
Yeah, ilikuwa ni 2023. How football Michael Olunga and Lava fought for 67 million land.
I never saw this.
Yes. Sina kwambia sasa situko rada jo, cause watu wanashindagwa ni kwa nini, cause majuzi nilikuwa into this public scandal hapa, nilikuwa naambia watu like I always clap for people when they're doing well, cause I hope to do well one day, najua. So history ya kuwa na PhD player hating degrees inaga mwaga like let me give you your flowers cause I'm working too. So when I look at these success stories and I look at all these successful people in court cases that they're not supposed to be in, I'm there. I always get worried because I'm like, what if one day I work this hard and then nipatikane? You understand? So ilikuwa like how footballer lost alikuwa Harambee Stars. Michael Olunga has been a man on a mission blah blah blah. The 28-year-old his story wameanza story mingi because the story was he paid the lawyer but then the lawyer hakupitisha the money to the person who was selling the land. So of course the person selling the land akamwambia mi sikupatii land yangu, I didn't receive any money. So in such a situation how does Olunga recover his money?
Honestly, you're one of the quickest ways ni hiyo through that committee.
Yes.
But I also find that there's a charge
Yes.
called obtaining by false pretense. And when you pay for a service and you don't get it, in a circumstance whereby money is exchanged, alafu exactly on this particular point there was a good, in this case it's the property, it meets the standard. So unapata you can do multiple things legally.
Yes.
You can file a criminal complaint, unaweza file a case with the advocates complaint committee, and you find a way on how to pursue all these things. At the same time, naonanga when you use an advocate, let's say like myself, I am purchasing, I'm rather facilitating a purchase of the property and whatever.
Yes.
Do what they call a chain communication. Bank, client, receiver.
Oh, kuzata nini let me apologize to nyima lawyers wote. Hiyo Olunga ikuwa lawyer ndi alikataa. It's the actual company. He transferred the money to the company and then the company didn't transfer. Pole ni vile kuna time siwami.
amefanya mambo
I apologize. This ni vile nishasikia hizo stories za lawyers.
It's 'cause
Kunyorosha watu.
it has been on the light of
Wamekuwa kinyorosha watu. So hii story ni Olunga transfers the money to the real estate company. The real estate company does not give him the land. Unangalia, you remember when I was talking about the distrust ama the way we are such a dishonest society. I remember nikuwa na watch udem naitwa Kelis. And Kelis was talking about buying land in Kenya na kabonga juu story ya doku go through lawyer. Of course she was able to get her land and she was like alikuwa nabonga kwa podcast ya US and she was like that's how they do it in Kenya. Because kwao nakumbuka nikibonga with a few Kenyans in America and they're saying that hakunaga story like land deals are so clean. There are no two people in court right now fighting for to lose land alafu sikupata. It's that clean.
And then the real estate market there is highly regulated. So kuna structures on how they do things.
Yes.
Yeah. Commissions huko they are like a very
not like,
it's a very big deal there. It's a very big deal.
Yeah.
Like I'm going through my California bar exam. So there is this particular paper that I'm supposed to do. So wanakulizanga like how you're supposed to be facilitating transactions. And then when you enter into a road accident, there are certain lawyers who will do that case and they won't charge you until you win the case.
Yes.
So it's called no pay until you win. It's there.
And if you don't win,
If you don't win, you don't pay the
don't
lawyer. Like you've done the case, you've lost, lawyer goes, here you go.
Oh, hiyo ni ile sasa mnafaitia ile mkishinda sasa the lawyer gets a percentage.
Yes,
Sindio?
yes.
Which should be
It's
the
a
scenario.
it's a serious standard and it's highly followed quite a lot there. Yeah.
But sasa nini so tukigo back to Chalo.
Yeah.
Do you understand why? Like, because I know as a lawyer, you look at the process and you're like, yes, they could have gone to this office, your complaints. Do you understand, Pia, from the outside looking in, why people get super angry? I remember even like last year when I was covering, I did a lot of nilikava story ya Khalif Cairo kabisa. And I remember like one of the things that people used to say, like if you went through the comments, wasoko nasema siku moja atapata na mtu mbaya ule atampeleka kotini. And when you look at that statement, you know what it means. I don't need to explain it to you. So do you understand why it becomes a very dangerous affair messing with clients money, because not every client will be ready to go through the court process, because the court process can also take years
And
that some
it's
people
also,
don't
it
have.
can also be expensive.
Yeah.
I do understand that. What I'm just trying to say is that by the time mse afike hiyo standard, man, I don't know. Like, there is a lot that could have been done. There's just a lot.
Try to imagine maybe umse wa 40 million, the last client, yes, let's say this person has disposed of something 40 million. Alafu hii maybe maybe ni wife anaweza kuwa ni mgonjwa, mtoto ni mgonjwa, you need this money urgently, and then unaona lawyer yako akifloss unaunderstand how it becomes. Alafu sayo the system the way we know the system, tunajuaga the system is there to protect the people who understand the system. So if I'm fighting with you legally, nacheki niko sure Ian nta lose 100%. The same way if Ian comes into my world of podcasting tuanze kufight, probability mi ntashinda ni very high.
That's a very heavy statement, and I don't know what to say. I feel a bit guilty because this is a profession, of course, that I do love, and it's unfortunate that people who come to lawyers, especially on two different moments.
Yes.
When they're going through a desperate situation, or two, they want us to facilitate a moment of justice.
Yes.
So ideally, when a client comes and then we don't perform, of course, there are clients who have never felt satisfied with my service or something like that. And sometimes I can take some of these criticisms to heart. Sometimes no longer, it's not warranted. But at that particular extent, it's hard to not feel the pain or fathom exactly what the client was going through. I can at least say that.
Yeah.